two, one. We are live. Hello, Internet. It is November 13th. The time is 12:08. I'm going to try and speak as quietly as I can so my upstairs neighbor doesn't want to beat the crap out of me. Sorry, Brittany, you're the best. I'm live with a very good friend, a family friend, some might say a brother. Please introduce yourself to the World Wide Web, if you don't mind.
Hey, what's going on? My name is Mez. I've been called many names and many lifetimes before, but I'll always be Mez. And yeah, I make music. And Chris is definitely a brother of mine, a very close friend, a family member, if you will. And yeah, we're here to talk about painted houses.
Yes, yes. So, why don't we start at the beginning? What brought about the genesis of painted houses and all that it entails?
So, I wanted to, first of all, I was kind of tired of the Brando Omega name and that whole era. And like when it came down to it, there was only like a few songs that I really liked when I went by that name. And the whole purpose of me being called, like, first it was Young Brando, then it was Brando Omega, was just like I had lost a bunch of weight. I looked a lot different, and I just wanted like a change with the music and everything. But I had listened back like late last year and like earlier this year when I came down to it, and I wanted to make new music, and I was just like, I can't go by that name anymore. I don't stand behind the music I was making then. Like it was just kind of bad. And I just didn't want to. So I was like, well, I used to be Mez the Great. I used to be Mezzy, all these things. Let me go back to what works for me. And I was just, this album was more about like, it's more about kind of like getting back to your roots, but also it was really about like love lost and also looking forward to future love and settling down and having all these things that someone who's close to being in their 30s is achieving and is striving to work for. So that's pretty much the genesis of it. I wanted to make it short and simple. I didn't want to have fillers. I didn't want to drag it out. I just wanted it to be really good music. So
Right on, right on. So, along this journey of defining who you are as an artist, as a rapper, as a producer, we have some friends here, some old, some new. Would you like to tell us about the features you brought to this project?
of course, yeah, it's really interesting how that all actually worked out. The not the All of them were big to me, but the one that really surprised me was Son the Prodigy. Me like it didn't surprise me, but me and him, like I this is like a dude that I came up with that was the first person to tell me I could rap. He made me a member of my first rap group, Squad Savage, and he was like a dude that I came up with, and always encouraged me, and you know the whole we had put out a project together called Extermination. That was like, wow, now it's almost like, I would say it's like 8 years ago. And we've done some songs here and there after that, but kind of everyone in the group just kind of went their own separate ways. Like Keith is doing like his own thing. He's putting out really good music. And Son has just been kind of doing his thing too. But it was really nice to have that kind of exclusive Squad Savage reunion with Son the Prodigy on those two songs. And Trent is a newer friend. I met him a few years ago when I was working at Apollo Music. Shout out Apollo Music. Big shout out to Adam Yacarino and the whole Apollo Music fam, Seamus. Um, so I met him. He has the most features, so he has three songs on there. And we actually are planning on releasing something either the end of this year or like early next year. We'll have a project together, which I'm really looking forward to. And yeah, he's incredibly talented. Everyone that I worked with on this is just incredibly talented. And Leanna Paradise, that's my girl. We have two mixtapes together. We have the Best of Both Worlds, and then we have Back to Both Worlds, which we released last summer. So it was really amazing working with her and just kind of getting her perspective on, she's always gonna bring, that 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 nice touch to like what I want to have in a song. Like I'll be like, hey, I think you would, do you would sing really well on this, or what do you think I could add on here to make this sound better? So it's just really, great working with those three people. And yeah, definitely.
Marvelous, marvelous. Okay, so new friends, old friends, a return to like a name most people I know who know you refer to you as. Let's talk about your delivery, like these vocals, because um, the name Brandon Omega, you're not really using that right now, but the flow is still the same. Like, had you not have changed your name, I'd still think it was the same MC. And listening to Painted Houses, I have distinct memories of being in like this library next to the room I was renting when we were going to school together. And I believe the first song you played for me was Keep Shining. And back in the day, like the way you rapped was like the way that you talked to me, or the way you would like get on the air when we were in, on class and such. So what led you to like maintaining like this style of delivering your bars the way that you do, like this kind of all encompassing sort of like Bronson descending kind of like delivery? What inspired that?
um, so I'm glad you pointed that out. It came down to, when I first started putting out music. I mean, I feel like anyone like, and I feel like any big artist will tell you like when they first, no one like when they first start making it like is like really all that good. Like I'm sure there's some few exceptions, but um it's one of those things where you just keep practicing and working on it. So actually, like when I started to, it was when I put out this mixtape called Journey into My Soul. And I kind of, so I engineer all my stuff. I don't send it off to anyone. I do everything pretty much in house, from beats sometimes to but all the vocals and the mixing, that's all I do, that all by myself. So I was like, I kind of invested in some new software. And I was like, you know what, this I need to just kind of like evolve. So from that mixtape I was like, okay, let me pull from my influences, which I know you mentioned. Bronson was a lot of like New York artists that I really pulled from. Is like Bronson, and then there would be some Nas, and a lot of just
I see
East
little
Coast New
beasties in
York.
the flow as well, actually.
Yeah, Beasties, of course. I'm a huge Beastie Boys fan. Um, so it went from me like rapping in like my speaking voice to me just like I want to be totally unrecognizable when I get on the mic. And when I'm having a conversation with a friend, I want it to be completely different, because I'll have people come up to me and be like, hey, like, wait, what, that's you? That like doesn't even sound anything like you. So I only take it as a compliment. And what I'm going for is like I don't want like because I just like my speaking voice. Like some people can pull it off, but my speaking voice just isn't made for hip hop. So um, I don't know. I just feel like I'm really glad that I went in that direction, and it's kind of like what I listen for when I listen to music and when I listen to hip hop. One of the number one things is, do I like this person's voice? I mean, some people can get a pass, if they're a great lyricist, but for me, that's one of in my opinion, that's one of the things that has to be high up on the list of, if I'm going to listen to you or not.
It's cool that you say that, or interesting that you say that, because a rapper I'm sure you're familiar with, Big Sean, just released Detroit 2. And on that album, he's like this 9 minute like cipher with a bunch of Detroit heads. And I don't know what the conversation online is like, but I was disappointed to see there's no feature by one Danny Brown, who I know is a big name in Detroit, and who I'm sure a lot of folks maybe to listen to, considering his very interesting voice and flow. And I recently, being on Twitter, like the way that I am these days, I watch a lot of YouTubers who react to like the top 20 on Billboard. And, Lil Baby has a couple of joints on there that are circulating right now. And some people say, dang, I want to get into this guy's work, but his voice sounds so weird. So I have to give you kudos for like taking a chance and choosing a real like off the wall sort of vocal delivery that isn't commonly seen unless you're like digging into like the lesser known subgenres like maybe like emo rap and stuff like that. So I thought I'd take some time and pull up a couple of comments that I got for some friends, because you asked me to like pass the tape around, and I passed it to about maybe 3 or 4 people, and 3 people got back to me. I want to first give a shout out to my friend on Twitter, Arkentel. That's Arcentel. And he said, listening to his work, Mez definitely has a neat energy. He shows a lot of promise, and I look forward to see where he takes it. I feel like he has a bit of a Flavor Flav ODB thing going on, which I thought was interesting. So I'm like, well, I definitely should have mentioned that during the interview. I also have to give a shout out to my friends in the Gorilla Gang podcast. Moko Stand Up. Let me see. I'll first go to my friend Hendrix. And he said,
Wow. First off, thank
What's that?
you. I just want to say thank you for that compliment that your friend gave me. What was the handle again? What was your friend's name again?
Arkentel, ARC.
Arkentel. Man, you're the
Arkentel.
man.
Yeah.
Flavor Flav ODB in this, yeah.
I have to like take this time to reference one of the great Baltimore rappers, JPEG Mafia, who has a song called Real Nega. I'm not gonna say it live right now. But he samples like this one iconic like vocal run of ODB and turns into like this bizarre beat, and like it was like nothing I'd ever heard of before. So hopefully you can get enough clout tokens in this rat race we call hip hop, so you can get a beat produced by him, or maybe even a feature, because that'll be next level. I never thought we'd see such a prominent act come out of our beloved city. Besides our bias, Chaotic Couture. Shout out to Couture, Stream Peep Durag right now.
Shout out Couture. Yeah, I actually hit him up not too long ago. Hit Chaotic up and was like, let's collab. So hopefully there will be a Mez and Chaotic collab coming soon. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I know Chaotic
Hasn't been
busy. He's out. Chaotic's out here grinding. We respect it. So.
I also want to point out our 2 listeners. I don't know who you are, but I appreciate you both. Thank you very much for taking the time to hang out with us in the middle of the early morn. Also, they, them pronouns, man. You know better than that.
Yeah, that's my bad.
All good, all good. It's all love over here, baby. Let me see.
I was actually to bring up the OBD thing. I was actually listening to. I said I was listening to this ASAP Rocky song that Danny Brown was on. you probably know it, the One Train song.
One
And I was
Train.
like, man,
I
yeah, I
remember
was
that
like,
song.
man, because to bring up the OBD, I was like, man, Danny Brown has some ODB vibes. I was getting I always get those vibes from Danny Brown, the old Dirty
Certainly
Bastard
from like
vibes. Yeah,
Triple X era for sure. You know, like I
yeah.
never thought he'd be just like celebrated hipster darling, and now like getting beats executively produced by Q-Tip. Like man's just come a long way, and I cannot wait to see what's in store for him. Like with the Danny's House show on Vice, and like he had a great verse on what's that show on YouTube? The Cave with Kenny Beats. Let's talk about these white rappers for a moment, if we will. Like I think you are in good company these days, considering the who are like making waves. Like how do you feel about that MC Jack Harlow who recently got featured on the Double X freshman series?
So, honestly, I haven't really been too much into like the new people that are coming out. Um, I've really, cause a lot of it right now, like I don't know. It's like,
Not for you,
um,
maybe.
yeah, like I don't know, like I kind of have given up on, because what I would do is I would watch like the how I would be introduced to like the new people. You know, they had the BT cipher, and then that would be connected to whoever, Double XL um, thought was gonna blow or whatever that year. So the last cipher I watched, I think it was this past year or the year before. I was just so unimpressed with everyone that was
What?
in there. Yeah, I was just like, I can't do it. I can't. The only person that I liked was Los, and I would even
Hold on. Did
like,
they even put
yeah,
Los on the Double XL feature list? Was that a
the
thing, or was it just
only
on the
he
BET one?
Los, yeah, the cipher, like Los was in. I think the last one that I guess I really um like Los's verse was dope, and then but the one before,
I have to look that
oh
up
yeah,
again.
yeah. Shout out to my me and Los follow each other on Twitter.
Oh,
Shout out Los.
nice.
Yeah. um. So yeah, Los was dope, but all the other people in that cipher, man, like I don't know. I have not been feeling it lately. So
Hmm. I think you might be what they you know, you and I were approaching our 30s, and a lot of my coworkers at my job, they're in their younger 20s. So like we might be considered what the Zoomers refer to as old heads or
yeah,
washed.
I was just about to say, yeah, I'm an old head for sure.
Hmm.
I'm an old head, yeah. I
Old head in
definitely
a
don't.
young man's
I,
body.
I I don't listen to the baby. I don't listen to
Wait, so you
all
don't
the
listen to Soul Baby or Soda Baby or who else am
no
I thinking
no
of? Bad Baby?
the one that has that one song with Drake. I think it's Lil Baby.
Yeah, yeah, that's Lil Baby. Yes, indeed, that's definitely
Yeah,
Lil Baby. That was my
yeah.
first introduction to him, actually.
I don't listen to him. I don't listen to anything like him. So
Wow,
I feel
wow.
like that's all that's coming out right now.
Well, way to
The,
paint
the,
yourself into a corner, dumb.
and the MCs that I want to listen to, they're already out right now. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
they're already established, and so I'm not trying. I'm not. That's not
No
what this
shade, no
interview.
shade.
That's not what this interview. That's not what this
Yeah,
interview
let's,
is
let's circle
about.
back around
Yeah,
to you. I just wanted to check the
yeah,
temperature. You know what
yeah, yeah. This interview is not to throw shade at anybody. Like we're not gonna do
I'm saying? Yeah,
that.
there's more than enough food on the plate for everyone to get a piece.
Yes, exactly. If you're eating, I'm eating. We good.
Alrighty then. Okay, so let's get back to this painted houses project. I'm
Sure.
gonna have to mute this tab. I'm not gonna front to you. I listened to the entire thing in one sitting.
You said you listened to the whole thing in one sitting?
One straight go.
Oh wow.
So let's take a look at this track list here. We have
The pressure.
9
Yeah.
tracks for those who haven't looked at it yet. We have the Thriller intro, Slow Down, Beto, No Man, None, Marathon Love, which is my favorite track on the tape. No Tears, Trust Ball, and Counting Headlights. Um, I'm happy to say that your sense of humor hasn't gone anywhere with the Thriller intro.
Yeah, I thought that was perfect because you know the whole my name is Michael. For those who are watching and listening, that's my name is Michael, and I just thought it would be perfect to like the perfect intro. I was just gonna do the whole Michael Jackson thing. Like it was just gonna be the original clip from Thriller, but I uploaded it and then they took it down. So I was like, well, I can just fill in for MJ, and so that's what I did, and just had to time everything right and everything. So
All those bin skills going to work there.
yeah.
All right then. So here's a question I thought about listening to this. Would you be interested? Because you have a massive catalog, and I fear that some of these mixtapes have been lost to the sands of the internet, never to be reclaimed. But like for those projects that are very near and dear to your heart, would you ever consider like getting onto Genius and like uploading some of the lyrics if people wanted to like dissect them or see what you were thinking at the time that you wrote them?
Oh, definitely. I would definitely be interested in doing that more with probably more so with current projects. If it was something that I released like 10 years ago, but probably not because I don't even know what I was thinking then probably, but I do have cuz I used to how I used to write, I used to actually write in like a notebook and stuff. And it wasn't until I think maybe like 2013, 2014, I started just writing on my phone in like the notepad section. Um, I was actually no, I had an iPod and I would just I had an iPod Touch and I would just write in the notes. Like I think my old iPod had like 400 pages of lyrics on
Wow.
it. Yeah, it was crazy.
Do you still consider what you do when composing lyrics free writing? I know when you first introduced the concept to me, I was very I was very like anti free writing because I didn't understand it or um it just the whole term like confuzzled me. Do you still consider what you do free writing? Like do a lot of the bars just come off the top or like it's um do just writing the lyrics mean more than it may have in the past.
So I kind of do like a little of both. I can freestyle. I have a lot on recent projects and stuff. But as far as as far as free writing, usually it'll only take me like 10 minutes or less to write a song. If I spend any more time on it, I feel like if you're in that moment, it should all just flow out, you know, from top to bottom. I feel if you spend too much time on it, then it kind of loses meaning and you kind of those feelings that you had, those emotions that you tapped into when you went to, you know, write that just kind of start to fade away. Um, so I have tried pretty much everything when it comes to writing. Um, at one point early on when I first started, I would write a whole verse and then I would wait until the next day and then write the second verse. But the problem, like, the more, for me, the longer I waited, the more off subject about the song I got, and it would just go into a whole different direction. So I know what I'm more comfortable with is free writing, where it takes me it's like a stream of consciousness, and then I just write and write until close to 10 minutes has gone by, and then you have a song. And sometimes, if you hear the beat, most of the time I already have the the chorus in mind before I even, if there is a chorus, I'll even have the chorus in mind before I even have the verses done. So yeah, that's pretty much my process. Um, yeah, and I just try to kind of just pull from my influences and try some multi-syllable rhyming and kind of like see how long I can go, how I can end a phrase and then see how many words I could put before I rhyme on the phrase that I ended, the word that I ended with. So type of thing. So
Nice. Okay. Like, like um I consider it an honor to have been just having like a fly on the walls point of view into the way that you create. And like we've maybe done what we've worked together in school. We tried doing a show on our own. I've interviewed you over Skype, and like after all this time, like hearing you like describe what it is that you do to make music, to make mixtapes, to create songs, it makes 100% sense to me. And that's coming from a person who just like would religiously study like people who make musics, like uh, behind the scenes, like vlogs and like live performances and just like nerdy stuff like EQing stuff and folks who engineer things. And I even follow this channel now called Nail the Mix, where folks will just send out the stems of their music to people who are like, hey, why don't you try to mix the song? And I'm like, I can't think of anything more terrifying. And as an engineer yourself, like besides like the the need to like be independent and be a self-starter and a do-it-yourselfer, what enjoyment do you get out of like tweaking every element of the music?
so honestly, it's like when I worked at a recording studio for 3 years, and
That's right. Yeah.
yeah, so I worked at a studio for 3 years. Before I started working there, I was already mixing my songs, but I learned so much from there. Like the whole setup of what I had, my mic my mic booth was like. Now I have a folding wall, and I have soundproof blankets that I got from the studio that are all surrounded. So that's pretty much like my mic booth. And a lot of them were just telling me just to just little things that I could tweak, and definitely told me to invest in better compressors, limiters. I don't know if you know what any of those are. Just a lot more better like plugins, and yeah, so that's kind of what I did. And once I found like I tweaked it to where it's my voice sounds right. It like complemented my voice. Then I was like, okay, well now my recordings sound really good. So what's next is my voice just has to change. I have to find my quote sound, and just become the artist that I want to be, and someone that I would want to listen to, basically. Like if it wasn't me, would I want to listen to this or not? Type of thing. But I definitely learned a lot from Adam, and I learned a lot from Seamus for working at the studio. So yeah, that's pretty much my backstory to how I like learned how to like really engineer. So
All right, cool. So we brought it up several times, but at this point you have been rapping for a significant part of your life, almost entirely a decade, if I'm not mistaken, or more. So given like the sea change of the genre, seeing how now that hip hop and rap are like is the biggest culture musically across the globe, for the ones who may like find this afterwards or maybe in a month from now, like younger people, like just out of high school, still in high school, what sort of nuggets of wisdom would you drop into their pockets? Like, oh, hey, consider this when you want to pursue music creatively in a very serious capacity. What would you say to those folk?
I would say, first of all, keep your day job. Always have, like, you know, if you're gonna pursue music, always have like a steady source of income. When I was working at the studio, I had I had another job. I was working at the studio, and then I was also working at a gym. So always keep, at least a part-time, if you can, a full-time job, because when I started at the studio, I was an intern, so I wasn't making any money. And then I was an engineer, and then I became the studio manager. So, and even when I was the studio manager, I wasn't working, that I wasn't full time, but so have that always have that steady source of income. Also, just don't give up. Um, just try to explore, who you are as an artist, and don't be afraid to try different things. Don't be don't be afraid to try new things. Like, I always look at my next project as like my next experiment, because I don't know what it's gonna turn out to be, but I'm sure I can find it like along the way, and just try to soak up as much life as possible, because that's gonna be your inspiration for when you write songs. Because if you don't have those life experiences, what are you gonna write about? And if you don't end up getting signed to a major label, or blowing up, it's really not the end of the world. Because at the end of the day, like, music is something that is a reflection of you. It's something that can get you, through the day. And if it just only goes as far as, like, you playing your songs for your friends and family, and like their friends and stuff, then that gives you enjoyment, then that's amazing. Because we all have a story. Um, you know, we all have gifts, and I just feel like, just don't ever get discouraged, because it might work, it might not, but if you just keep making music, no matter what happens, because no one can take away what you can create at the end of the day.
Well, that's beautiful. I'm glad. Well said. I want
Thank
to
you.
take a page out of the book of this particular magazine that had the opportunity to interview Billie Eilish 3 years in a row, and every year they interviewed her. They're like, "Yo, say something to yourself that you're going to hear a year from now." So I would encourage you to do two things for me: to tell Mez, like, from 10 years ago, just starting out, like post winter green, like still like green, kind of like fresh behind the ears, in the throes of vamp stuff. Like, what would you say to past Mez, and what do you want to say to yourself a year into the future when you like look back on this interview? Past Mez
So
first.
so past Mez, so Mez 10 years ago, what would I say to him? And
Like, if he
then
had some weird technology that allowed him to hear like what his life is going to be like, what he's going to look like, the music he's going to make, like if you could just break the fourth wall and say, "Hey, Michael, I need you to hear me right now," what would you say to that Mez?
in the future.
Past.
Oh, the past. Okay, I got it now. Sorry, I was a little
Okay.
confused. All
My
right,
apologies.
fourth wall break. I would say, yo, Mez, you're going by, yeah, you're going by Mezzy right now. Just keep making music, man, and you're gonna meet a lot of women. You're gonna get your heart broken by a lot of women, but it's okay. Just write songs. Just write songs about him, and keep keep on, spending time with family and friends, because they matter, and they'll always be there for you. And keep making music. Don't ever give up, because you're about to make like 25 more mixtapes.
You have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, now Mez in 2021, like September 13th, what do you want him to know? Or like what do you want to like what do you want to say to you in the future and what do you want to ask you in the future?
What do I say to myself in the future? Um, hmm. Okay. um, in the future, I would probably want to tell myself that hey, Mez, you got some new tattoos. You know what else is new? Um, you seem to be getting tattoos all the time. Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess I would have to say, um, I hope whoever you're dating now is a good person. I hope you still have that hunger and strive to create more music and put out mixtapes and albums and things like that. And then just I hope that you stay the person that you are today. I hope you just continue to grow into being that person and achieve your goals that you want to achieve.
Wonderful. All right. Now, the time is about 12:45 and we are about 36 minutes into this interview. I think we could probably get another 10 minutes out of this. What do you think?
I agree. Yes.
All right, let's do a little more lighthearted stuff. So, we have Painted Houses by Mez. It's live on the internet. Um, what would you direct fans to who really like this tape but want to hear more? What's the best place to start that's not this particular mixtape?
That's not this particular mixtape.
Mhm.
I would probably say Violence and Violets. That would be a good start. It has a lot of the same vibes on it. I would say, but make sure that you go to my YouTube channel, um, because when I originally released this project, it had like I think close to like 20 songs on it. So it was 10
Wow.
more or like 19 songs. It was 10 more than um I originally wanted on it. I just wanted to see if I could add on more to it, but originally it was supposed to be 9 songs like Painted Houses is. So I'm glad I stuck with the formula for Painted Houses, which was 9 songs. That's it. And so yeah, I would suggest on my YouTube channel, Violence and Violence is kind of similar. To it has some of the similar vibes. And it'll say the original cut on it, so it's 9 songs. Around the same length too, as far as time goes. And yeah, so actually, I didn't even get to get into this part of Painted Houses, but um so originally it was supposed to. I think it was gonna have like 12 songs on it, and 3 of them were supposed to be about this girl I was dating at the time. And
Oops.
yeah, so and it didn't work out with her. Actually, Trustfall, and this is an exclusive. You're hearing it straight from the source. Trustfall was originally about uh, some girl, and then I rewrote it, and then I rewrote it again. So the version of Trustfall that's on the album right now is the third or fourth version of that song. But Trent's verse always stayed the same, but my verse changed at least 3 or 4 times.
Hey man, that's what creatives do, you know, like you gotta
Yeah,
keep on like picking up the brush and like seeing where the muse leads you, you know?
yeah, and it was such like I love Trent's verse so much. I was like I can't just like not do it because it's about like a girl or whatever. So I made my verse on that song. It could be very open ended, like it could be about someone or it could just be about you know the future someone. Hold on, I gotta take a drink real quick.
I think I'll do the same. Drink more water, as the great Mick Jenkins would say.
So I kind of left that part open ended, and it could either be about someone or it could be about the future someone, and that was definitely a theme on this project too. Like on Counting Headlights, the last song on the project was about like my quote future wife, and it was like mainly like a prayer that I wrote out, and like a prayer poem that I wrote out, and I was just like, I gotta um, put this in a song. So
Yeah, that thing is emotionally heavy. I'm not gonna lie to you there.
thank you. I try to I try to keep try to have some deep ones in there. That those were similar themes on Marathon Love.
Yeah, that definitely. I feel that this just not really necessarily a new flow, but just like the new and improved flow. Out of all the beats on Painted Houses, I feel like the one for Marathon Love suited your style the most.
Thank you.
Now, no, speaking of style, I wanted to ask a little more lighthearted stuff. As you mentioned before, engineer, producer, if you could have your pick of the litter, anyone in like the new music world right now is like, Mez, I need that heat. I need a beat from you, bruh. Who would you want that email, that phone call to come from? Who would you love to produce for?
I love to produce for. I had to say Kanye. If he wanted me for Jesus is King Part Two, I would totally do that. I would say Kanye or oh man, anybody. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's just stick with Kanye. We'll stick with Kanye for now.
All right, and
Yeah.
just to seem like this Yeezy train for a little bit, some folks may not know that Travis Scott was signed to Good Music, and I think it was just like they had like a branch of the label explicitly just for the producers, and then that's how I got to know Scott because some people like my brother, shout out to Migo Kev out there, knew Travis because of his tapes, but I got to know him like Mez mentioned via like his appearance on I think either his I think on the double XL freshman cover list, and like he was making beats for Ye. I recall seeing him during Kanye's SNL performance. And this is kind of random, but Scott just got that bag from Mickey D's for like the Cactus Jack burger. So Mez, being like the muscle man that you are, like the health nut that you are, if you got to like pick a brand to like feature like a Mez meal, who would you want that brand to be? What restaurant or something like that would you pick?
a Mez meal. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh. I would say, oh man. Only if they would give me free food for life. Well, no, they don't even give me free food for life. Um, I, I I have to stay local. Support local businesses. I would say Park Tavern, and they would just name their fried Brussels sprouts. They would name it the Mez Sprouts or something like that. I don't
There you go.
know.
The Mez or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I love Brussels sprouts. Probably my favorite food. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, spend a little time on that. Break it down. Like, as considering like a Brussels sprouts noob, what's the best way to enjoy Brussels sprouts?
Best way to enjoy Brussels sprouts, either roasted or fried. I prefer fried because the way that they fry them, they don't really add, like, it's not like deep fried, like it's not battered or anything. Like it's just the way that they cook them. They just cook them in a way that like they fry them, so it's not like it's not terrible for you. It's not bad. I wouldn't even say it's bad for you. And then so that's how I would say you should eat them. But then you also they give you a chipotle spicy sauce. It's kind of like
Ooh,
I've heard it's kind of like a spicy ranch in a way. Um, I think it tastes much better than that. Just in my personal opinion. But so yeah, you definitely you need the chipotle sauce, and gotta take another drink. Mm. Um, so yeah, that's what I would say. I would suggest fried. Have them fried. Have something spicy with them, and you're good to go.
Right on, right on. Okay, like here we are, and just like that, 45 minutes into the interview. Let's pay tribute to like the god of this shit, Uncle Nard. Missy Mike, why should the people care? Why should the people care?
Uncle Nard. Because I represent artists out here just being themselves. Excuse me. Uh, I represent. Oh my gosh, I'm having a moment here. Um, the people should care is because I represent artists being themselves, not being afraid to put out the music that they want to put out.
Yeah, that's
And
go on.
sorry,
All
I
right.
had to take another drink. Man, I don't know what's going on right now. Uh,
Good vibes over here, man.
yeah. Um, put out the music that they want to put out, and yeah, just keep it. I don't know. I just
Creative freedom. That's why
Yeah,
people should
creative
care, right?
freedom. Yeah, just do what you want to. Just make the music you want to make, and do what makes you happy.
There you go. All right. I think that pretty much wraps it up. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out or thank before we get going?
Yeah. There's some people I want to thank. Yeah, I want to thank my mom. Shout out, mom. Um, who was some other people that was shout out to Christopher for interviewing me, and yeah, that's you. Shout out to my sister Melanie, my nephews. Shout out to Lindsay. Shout out to all my friends and family. You already know.
Yeah, family is all gang gang.
Yeah.
Well, folks, it's 12:55. If you're like up late listening to this, make sure you have a nice tall glass of water, use the restroom, go to sleep, tell yourself, like go in the mirror, like look at yourself and say, I love you. Text your friends, say I love you, like text some family, tell them I love you. When you go outside, if you have to, please wear the mask over your nose and your mouth. I beg of you. Wash your hands for 20 seconds. And when you're done listening to all of Mezzy's mixtapes, listen to some good old prog metal. As always, to all of our friends and family out there, Black Lives Matter, Queer Lives Matter. We'll see you next time. Mez, please say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye, people. Love y'all.
All right, we're gone. Thanks again, y'all. Godspeed. End broadcast.